We are officially 1 month past the total solar eclipse, which was dubbed the Great American Eclipse of 2024. And remember when it got dark in the middle of the day, which was pretty eerie? Well, now it's going to get light in the middle of the night, and that's due to these intense geomagnetic storms that have been ejecting from the sun since Wednesday morning. It's due to hit right now, as you're watching this video, all the way through Sunday. Now pay attention to this particular model by the NOAA. It looks like states from Michigan, Wisconsin, Iowa, Minnesota, North and South Dakota, Colorado, Montana, Idaho, Washington, and Oregon are in the line to see the northern lights or the Aurora Borealis. But it's not exclusive and limited to those states. And let's not forget Maine and upper parts of New York, Vermont as well. But you can see this light show up to 625 miles away. So you can actually be in southern states and see this. Now what's interesting is some of the parts of the total solar eclipse a month ago in Illinois and Indiana and Ohio are in line to see this unusual light show, and it's not common that the Aurora Borealis or the northern lights is visible in the month of May. That is more of a wintertime thing, but during these intense solar storms right now, it has highlighted the frequency. And again, this is the first time that we've had a watch issued for a geomagnetic storm since 2005. Some of our viewers on the Indiana-Ohio line here in West Virginia, we have the possibility of seeing the lights over top of us. But like I said, even if they're not over top your location, you can still witness this celestial show a good distance away. So we encourage you guys to find a clearing in the trees, get out to the countryside where it's darker and away from city lights, and look northward. And you are probably going to be bound to see this even if you're in a southern state. Looking at the astronomical background of how these solar storms form, you're looking at solar prominences. And these are just ejections of the plasma material from the sun. And how do those form? Well, it's magnetic pressure from the interior or the core of the sun makes its way outward toward the surface, and it's thousands of degrees cooler than what it normally would be. And as such, these solar prominences will usually loop back down to the coronosphere or the surface of the sun. But as these prominences come outward, solar material is flung outward toward space, and these particles collide with Earth's magnetic field. And now what you're looking at here is a sunspot cluster that is 16 times the size of Earth, called NOM Region 3664. And basically, this has thrown out 7 huge prominences toward Earth. And basically, they are going to hit us anytime between now, the time you're watching this video, up until Sunday. But the timing is not exact, so hopefully it's going to concur with our night skies here in the northern hemisphere, and you're going to be able to witness a dazzling light show. The farther south you are, the less prominent it's going to be. You may just see a dim light, but hey, it's still something. And in May, it's almost unprecedented to catch a light show like this from our sun. Now, it is important to note that the Earth's magnetic field protects us from multiple effects from our star situated in our solar system in the Milky Way's galaxy. It protects us from ultraviolet radiation, which can protect our vision. Now, the Earth's ozone layer helps protect the sun's rays from damaging our skin to long-term exposure, which can increase premature aging of your skin, which is your body's most important organ. So what exactly does the Earth's magnetic field protect us from? Well, as you're watching this video, the Earth is becoming greatly electrified from the sun. And it's not just from a lightning storm that the Earth can become electrified. It can be electrified from these particles that are electrically charged from the sun. Now, a process known as biomass, that's burning wood for heat and energy, is the oldest form of energy after the energy that comes from our sun. And did you know that a lightning bolt is hot enough to turn sand into glass? Well, the sun's version of a lightning bolt is what you're looking at here. That's a solar flare, or a prominence. And those solar lightning bolts don't just produce the auroras that you see here, which are often seen in Canada and Alaska in the northern hemisphere. And just how friction can generate electricity on a dry day, items like railroad ties or a pole on the metal trailer or a metal roof can actually become electrically charged from a solar storm such as this. Look at metal objects such as your power stations, maybe a transformer on a telephone pole. Hopefully, I don't think these are going to be overwhelmed and they're going to start blowing, but I do want to bring to attention something called the Carrington event back in the 1800s, where telegraph poles actually bent because of the overload of the magnetic storm. Just a few months before the solar cycle 10 ended in February of 1860 at the peak, there were thousands of reports of people touching doorknobs and getting sparked, telegraph poles catching fire, the lines overwhelmed and catching fire and spreading all across the United States. Voltmeters were overburdened. A man operating a telegraph machine got a shock through the machine. It wasn't corroborated, but most people believed it, and his arm hurt for days. The last telegram was actually sent on July 14th of 2013 as telegraph machines became obsolete due to the presence of text messaging and cell phones. There was enough light during this event that it stretched all the way down to the Caribbean and Mexico, the Aurora did, and that was in September 2nd of 1859, unprecedented. And there is a painting right there you can see of the event back then in 1859. So what happens if a G5 storm hits us next year? That'll be the last year of the 11-year solar cycle. And right now it's just a watch for this G4 event. That's still rare, and it can still have some effects, but it's not going to be mass chaos and devastation like a G5 event would be. Satellite communications would be disrupted. GPS is what we function on, and that would be probably shut down completely. Internet could be stopped for a couple months. You just don't know.